LUP 2022, The Power of Perspective, Casting the Lens on Constructive Solutions. As read by the Journalism Honours Class of 2022 at Stellenbosch University.
Community News Told from the Ground Up by Nakishka Skriker. There are significant gaps in the South African media industry in its representation of marginalized communities, according to media expert Sisanda Nokoala, an academic at Cape Peninsula University of Technology's CPUT Media Department. GroundUp is a not-for-profit news publication which aims to address these gaps through its coverage of human rights stories in South Africa, according to Nathan Geffen, editor of GroundUp. The donor-funded publication was founded by Geffen, who aimed to address the need for coverage of human rights issues at its outset in 2012. 10 years later, he believes GroundUp has met this goal, but the work to address these issues has not yet ended. Geffen expressed concern that currently the state is highly incapable of delivering all that it is supposed to. This leads to a failure to uphold constitutional rights, and it is this lack of capability that needs to be addressed, said Geffen. Reject the single narrative. Everyday things that people go through that are often overlooked are captured in the way that GroundUp stories are told, said Masego Mafata, a freelance writer for GroundUp. Another GroundUp freelancer, Raymond Joseph, expressed similar sentiments, stating that the publication is filling a very important gap in the reporting of social justice issues. Joseph identified townships as areas which are particularly underrepresented in the media, especially in terms of positive coverage. Nokoala echoed this view, claiming that news reports tend to employ a single narrative about townships and lower-income communities, exacerbating stereotypes around these communities and their inhabitants. Many of these stories are largely negative and emphasize the challenges faced by community members, explained Nokoala. Community media. Mafata identified accountability as a key factor in addressing the human rights issues that affect marginalized communities. Quite a few of the stories that we do are about failure to uphold constitutional rights. Part of our job is to ensure that people who fail to uphold these rights are held accountable, stated Mafata. Coverage of human rights issues has improved in the time that GroundUp has been around, noted Geffen. I'd like to take some credit for that the kind of reporting we have done has rubbed off onto other news publications. CPUT's Nokoala shares a similar view, identifying the publication as a model, particularly for community media, on how to keep the voices of the community central. Corruption unearthed. In 2021, the South African National Editors Forum, SANEF, announced Geffen and Joseph as joint winners of the Nat Nakasa Award for Community Media for their work at GroundUp. This is according to the SANEF website, which recognizes GroundUp as a sterling example of good community journalism in action, noting the publication's coverage on the national lottery scandal as exemplary. GroundUp's #DodgyLottery series explores corruption and incompetence involving National Lotteries Commission projects, according to an article written by Joseph on the GroundUp website in 2019. Vakile Mbalula, the Minister of Transport, has demanded a R2 million apology from Joseph and Mafata and the Daily Maverick, according to an article on the website published in December 2021. The article explained that Mbalula's lawyers issued a letter claiming an article in the #DodgyLottery series written by Joseph and Mafata and republished by the Daily Maverick made wrongful and defamatory allegations. The legal threats don't give us sleepless nights, said Geffen. Although they incur legal costs, he explained that these threats result in a greater willingness for people to support the publication through donations. The GroundUp website specifies that much of its funding comes from institutional donors. However, the website encourages more of their readers to make donations, as they do not generate money through adverts or subscriptions.
You can read the full text of LUP 2022, The Power of Perspective, on www.multimedia.org.